Hello, it's Marco here from Markom3D, and this is going to be part 3 of our kind of mini-series. In part 1 we did the lattices, part 2 we created this star field, and in part 3 now we're creating the path for the ship to fly around. Now this is all for an animated short film that I'm creating, and some of the voices that are in it are CG Matter, Curtis Holt, Carl Poiser, Little Annie, who's a streamer over on Twitch. So if you want, and if you can, support the channel, just hit the subscribe button if you want to keep up to date with how this animated short film comes out and any other tutorials that are coming out as well. For now, let's jump into the tutorial. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments below and let's go from there. So here I've got set up two curves. This is my Bezier curve and this is my path curve. Now I find the path curve to be much better at doing, obviously, paths, herp-derp. And that's because the curve itself is always averaged out and is a lot smoother. Where with a Bezier curve, you actually need to kind of line it up and make sure it's quite nice, or you do get this harsh jitters of turning. So for that reason, that's why we're going to go Shift A, add in a curve, and we're going to be using the path curve. So let's go tab into edit mode. And if we see kind of like move these around, you can kind of see how simple it is to make a path. And I can go E to extrude and, you know, lovely jubblies, as we say. I find these work better as well if they're spaced out quite nicely. Now, I've already been playing around with this. If I go Alt-H, we can see that I've already got a path here that I created with a fighter. So if I just press numpad 0 and press play, you can kind of see it flies through and we've got the rotation coming in. So, I mean, that's looking pretty cool. And here we've got a bit of a barrel roll. So let's create a secondary path. Now I could do this two ways. I could Shift D and duplicate my path and then kind of move it around, which, you know, would be a lot easier because I can just press tab. And then from here, you know, I can just start kind of using the proportional editing tool, press O, G, and then we can kind of just start moving stuff around a bit. So it's kind of off kilter, but it's still together, you know, just stuff like that. But you know what, let's start from scratch on this one. I will use the previous path as a bit of a guide because obviously we want the ships to stay kind of close together and always the secondary ship behind the first one because we kind of want those lasers. Pew, 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 pew. So let's go Shift A, curve, and add in a path. Let's press tab to go into edit mode. Curves over there, beautiful. Big question is which way is forward? So we click on the path tool and I actually don't see any more arrows. How annoying is that? So that's one thing they've changed in 2.9 is the path tool here. We've got no arrows. Same as the Bezier curve, there's no arrows on them anymore. So let's go Shift A. I'm going to just add in just a plane. If we come over into constraints, add object constraint, and we'll go follow path, eyedropper, NURBS path. Let's select our plane, Alt G to reset the location, animate path. There we go. So we know that this is our starting point. So it's a good thing we checked because I would have done it wrong. So let's go tab. Let's go rotate 180. So let's grab this up. I'm going to go G. And as part of the animated short film, this one starts about here as he's fairly close. And then let's kind of just go E to extrude. And it's going to be kind of semi on the same path, but not really. And I think I've created too many vertices, which is fine. We'll deal with that afterwards. And this bit here, you can come around a lot more. All right, so then now we've got our rough path. Let's go G and just start moving these around like so. And I might just fast forward this a little bit. So to me, that looks much better. Now, the next question is what does this look like in terms of the camera? So maybe what I might do is go Shift A and let's add in another camera. Let's come over into the constraints again. Where are we? There we go. Add constraint, follow path, eyedropper on that one with the camera selected, Alt G to reset the location and we'll animate path. So pressing numpad 0 has put me on my primary camera. We want to make this the primary camera. So let's go Control numpad 0. Something like so, and we can see that this thing flies off. We need to follow curve, and the reason for that is if we come back into the path, we can see that we're only animating 100 frames, where this one is 500. So we change that to 500. And we can already see he's way too close. So let's go into tab mode, edit mode, and let's push that around. Let's delete that one. And we'll bring this one down. So I think you're ready. He's still fairly close. Close. I can speak. So here when you can see that this guy needs to go up, because obviously he's chasing him. And so he should always be behind and not expecting what's going to be the turn. So we can see that this ship needs to actually turn before this one. So maybe if we increase to 550 frames, we can see that that's in unison, which is definitely not what we want. Oh, this is going to be tricky. There we go. So we can see that he's far behind now. Beautiful. So now what we can do is go into camera mode, and we're going to see, does this actually hit anything? So as we're flying, why is the rotation not following? Let's select the camera, come over into constraints, curve radius, maybe? Ah, that's why, because we haven't added in all the tilts. So what we do from here is we select points, press N to bring up the side panel, and we can change the tilt. So if we move forward a smidgen, and then we change the tilt, we can see that the ship kind of, as it's coming around the corner, and then he straightens out again. Let's give it a little bit more tilt. And then at this point here, it'll tilt the other way. I think I might have tilted a little bit too much. And then we kind of go around the whole path, selecting each point, giving it some tilts. And then we'll grab that one there. Tilting left and right. There we go. So now it's all about just fine tuning the path. But if I were to press play, we should see that ship's over there. Probably once we have that internal cockpit, what we might do is have the camera actually just track onto where the other ship is. And so the way to do that is we can go add constraint, clamp to, track to. And we can select, I think it's small ship. What is it doing? Oh, I had the path selected, not the camera. So select the path, sorry. Clear that. Select the camera to, constraint, track to, and then we're going to select our Shippy McShip, small ship. Oh, that looks cool. I can't wait for this final shot to be rendered. Look at that. And then, I mean, see what we've accomplished. We've accomplished kind of like a chase scene as well, so. Wow. So anyway, if you found this video helpful, please make sure you leave a comment below if you can. And if you haven't already, hit the subscribe button. It really helps me out. Almost hit that 25,000 goal. Next week, we will have a whole bunch of Reallusion stuff and character creation. And up and coming, we've got some special tutorials, which I am so thrilled to have.